Okay, chapter 5.3, estimate quotients. Remember, when we estimate, we're not guessing. Definitely not. We're not finding the answer and then rounding it. No, we're thinking ahead of time about how to do the problem. The story problem that they give us on page 209, unlock the problem from the real world. It talks about a person who goes skiing, and they got 3.2 feet of snow, which is nice. I like to ski on 3.2 feet of snow. And they got that in 5 days. And they want you to estimate the average daily snowfall per day. So basically we say, well, it would be easy if they got 5 feet, 5 feet of snow in 5 days. That would be about, well, it would be exactly 1 foot of snow per day. All right, 1 foot per day. But this is not what we have here. This is not a simple problem like this. We have a harder problem using decimals. 3.2 feet of snow. So our first job is to maybe think about something that 5 goes into. And we're going to say, well, this 3.2 feet, remember from our last lesson, we figured out how to change our whole number here into tenths. 3 wholes would be 30 tenths, and 2 tenths, so this would be like 32 tenths, THS, or 32 over 10, 32 tenths feet of snow. Okay, and we want to figure out how many ways we can split this. We're splitting this into 5 days. All right, and what we want to think about is what number works. If we're estimating, we're doing division. It's really, let me just change colors real quick. It's really 33.2 divided by 5. How many ways we're splitting them into 5 days are 3.2 feet of snow. But we're going to make this a new number because we're estimating. Okay, so we're going to change this to a number that works with 5. 5 doesn't go into 32. 8 goes into 32 nicely, but we can't change to 8 days. We're going to leave 5 days alone. We're still going to divide by 5. But we're going to change this 32 into a number that works with 5. And 30 is a number that works nicely with 5. 30 tenths divided by 5 equals 6 tenths. Now, see, I wrote it here as a fractional tenths. Here is 3.2, which is 3 whole numbers, 3 ones and 2 tenths. We decided to write that as 32 tenths. And so right here, it's 30 tenths. Or you don't have to write it as a fraction. You can just remember that it's tenths, which becomes 6 tenths at the end. 30 divided by 5 is 6. And 6 tenths written as a decimal is 0.6. Okay. So if I had my 5 circles, oh, that one circle's a little too small. Let me make it a little bigger. And I had to take my 32 tenths. I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oops. Pencil kind of got mixed up there. I hope you can read it because it's so small. There's 32. There's 6 in each one. You can just see that I'm drawing my tenths in. This is the picture. You don't have to use the picture today. But if I'm splitting it up into 5 groups, that's how many feet you get. Now, you can see that's not a whole foot. 6 tenths of a foot. It's more than half a foot. Okay, half a foot would be 6 inches. So don't think that 0.6 is 6 inches either. That's a whole nother question, a whole nother day of math. This is 6 tenths of a foot, and so it's more than half because 0.5 would be half a foot, which is 6 inches. Okay. That's all you have to do. And I can show you a little easier how to make that work. We're going to use something that does work, and we might have to do some actual long division, or we might just keep using numbers that work well together. Like they give us one. Ooh, it doesn't look like that. They give us one that's 410 and 5 tenths divided by 18. Now right away, I think you're going to have to change everything here. We're going to start by changing our divisor. We're going to change it into a 20. This is something we can deal with. I can deal with 20. And I could I could change 410 into 400 like this. See, I'm going to round this one down a little bit and round this one up a little bit. And then I just have to wonder how many times does 20 go into 400? And it might be easiest to figure out how many times 2 goes into 40. Or how many times does 2 go into 4? Well, it goes in 2 times. So 2 times 20 would only be 40, not 400. So if I added another 0, would 20 times 20 be 400? I think so. You can see that 20 is a good answer. If you wanted to do this slightly different, you could say, you could round, since you rounded 18 up to 20, you could round 410 up to 420. And that still works. It's a little more complicated though. And you end up with 21, because 21 times 20 is 420. I think this is maybe a little too complicated. This is the better estimate. That's what you're doing. I think you can make this work. What if we do something like, these are kind of like compatible numbers, 161.7 divided by 7. Now again, when we have a number that's less than 10, we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it as 7. That's just what we're going to do. We're not going to round that. Well, we could round it to 10, but I don't want you to. I want you to think of a number that 7 goes into that's near 161. And just ignore the 1 here. Just think about this 16. What does 7 go into that's close to 16? Just think about these two digits, the hundredths place and the tens place, the hundred and the tens place. What about 14? 140. So 7 goes into 140. 7 goes into 14 twice, so it goes into 140 20 times. I keep getting 20 for an answer. That's ridiculous. Hope that's okay with you. And then you can kind of do that backwards. Remember, multiplying is backwards division, or dividing is backwards multiplying. So 20 times 7 is 140. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 0 equals 140. Okay, that's it for today.